I finished my custom case prep station. This is run from an Xbox 360 power supply. Modded the power supply, just jumped the red and blue wires, tied them together, and it turns it on. So it's a 12-volt power supply. It's actually really got a lot of amps. So it's run on 4 separate motors. Switches independent, so I can only have 1 or 2 on or whatever. They don't all have to be running. Then I've got holders for my extra tools in the back here. You see underneath, it looks horrible. I haven't made a bottom for it at all and run the wires yet, but that's all the wiring. I made the quick connects, so if I have to take it apart, it's not a hassle. It's not all soldered in place. But it's run off of these motors here. This is a 12-volt 60.5:1 gear ratio. It's got a little gearbox on top. I actually have these 24-volt 31:1, so they're a little faster, but I don't know if I'm going to need that extra speed. We'll see. But I don't use this trimmer, this outer deburr tool, only because of the fact I made my own custom trimmer. It's based off of the Lee case length gauge trimmer. I made this sleeve to go on the cutter. You can see the cutter in there, but this sleeve actually goes on the outside of the cutter, and it has a piece of spring steel as the outer deburr blade. You see it where it wedges in there, but the blade is actually adjustable in and out. You can loosen it and slide it in and out, and then you can actually slide the sleeve up and down to control how much you take off on the neck. And then another thing is this pilot is actually custom made. I turned it from 303 stainless, center drilled a hole in it, and put a drill bit piece in there with set screws, so I can actually control the length of my brass. I just get my calipers, set that pin, cut down a piece of brass, check it, slide it in however further it needs to go, and lock it down, and I can trim all my cases to whatever length I want. This motor's from a car jack I bought years ago, and it was a piece of garbage, but the motor's good. So I do have a foot pedal. That's an on-off switch for the motor. Works great. This is the case holder. I made a little thumb piece there. So see if I can do this one hand. Put your brass in there. Lock it down. Trim it. And it comes out. That easy. And then I made a sleeve so you can actually stick it on there, tighten it down, and it keeps all the shavings from flying out at you. Every once in a while you will have to take it out, you know, dump it in the trash can or whatever, but it keeps the shavings maintained in there. So this is my setup of trimming brass. I'm cheap, so I make my own stuff.